Like many of you out there, when I first saw that bowling would be included in Clubhouse Games on the Switch, I was kind of curious. And as some of you may already know, and may have already watched my review, the Switch is already home to one pure bowling game in PBA Pro Bowling. Now, while that game was relatively solid, there definitely are some issues, don't get me wrong, the motion control aspect of the bowling was pretty bad and didn't come anywhere close to what was found in Wii Bowling in 2006. But what about the bowling in Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics? Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications, because today we're taking a look at bowling in Clubhouse Games on the Nintendo Switch. You have two options for control in bowling in Clubhouse Games: motion and touch controls. Now, motion controls will feel pretty familiar with anyone that's ever picked up a Wii Remote for the sport or bowling in real life. So basically here, after picking your spot with a joystick, you hold the R button and bring the Joy-Con forward. Now, like Wii Bowling, you're also able to put spin on the ball, and the controller picks up the amount of force that you're putting into your swing. Now, the majority of the time I played, I would get a message that would tell me, don't shake too hard. Now, even in real bowling, I do tend to kind of overdo it a little bit, typically because I'm using like a pretty heavy ball, so I guess this kind of makes sense. Now, I did have a few instances here where I had to kind of reset my approach, as maybe you're seeing here in some of this footage, but it wasn't really a huge deal. So how does the motion control feel? Well, honestly, overall pretty good. Now, every mistake I made with delivery doesn't seem to be any fault of the game, but rather problems with me. Now, the ball does feel, if you will, a little bit on the light side. Pin action also kind of responds as if you're throwing a very light ball down the lane. Still, it's quick to get into, and super easy for players of any skill level to get the hang of. Now for me, the touch controls here are mediocre at best. So using your finger, or a stylus if you have one, you touch the ball and then swipe up towards the pins. I mean, you can put spin on the ball, throw straight, you can even control your speed depending on how quickly you're swiping. And it works, but I definitely was having more fun playing via the motion controls. I just felt kind of like I was in a little bit more control of what was going on. Now, there are three different options for bowling in Clubhouse Games. You have 5 frames, 10 frames, and Challenge. Now, I think the first two are pretty self-explanatory here, but Challenge Bowling has players trying to knock over pins assembled in kind of like random order and stuff like that. The challenge here is to figure out what you need to do to deliver the ball, and then, well, execute. There's some pretty crazy combinations of pins that will definitely be there to challenge players. Now for me, I'm just kind of a regular vanilla type of guy when it comes to bowling. I just kind of wanted to do the regular bowling, 5 frames or 10 frames. That's where it's at for me. But I can definitely see people being into this. Of course, it just wouldn't be bowling without the ability to play multiplayer with other people. So while I haven't had a chance to play locally, I did get a chance to play online. So here you play an opponent in a 5-frame match with obviously the best score winning. Now when it comes to online performance, it's okay, but I did notice some lag here and there too. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't enough to upset the gameplay in any way. And actually I somehow ended up getting a perfect score my first time through, so yay for me. Now, visually, everything here, as kind of with the rest of the games in the Clubhouse package, are a no-frills, minimalistic affair. Here you got the pins, the scoreboard, and a picture of your me or your profile picture. Honestly, I would love to see this expanded upon. Maybe an actual clubhouse where you can meet up with friends online, bowl against each other, or take on CPU rivals in a season mode. Now, I'm probably asking for a bit too much here when it comes to just basically using this in a whole nother game, but I think there's definitely a place for an expanded version of this minigame in another package. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be cool to see. Now, just to be perfectly clear, I don't think it's fair to judge the entirety of Clubhouse Games on bowling alone. That would just be absolutely absurd. Know that if you pick up this game, you still have access to a number of other great mini-games that are great to play with friends and by yourself. Now, as for the bowling aspect of the game, things feel pretty good here, especially with the motion controls. Now, with the touch controls, well, there are probably tons of better options out there on mobile, to be honest with you guys. But, overall, here, it's a little bit bare bones, but if you're itching to get your roll on your Nintendo Switch, you definitely can't go wrong here. As always, thank you for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to give us a like. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. We got tons of podcasts, video reviews, special videos, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.